All right, what's up, guys? So a lot of fighting game information has actually been coming out as far as like tournaments or just plain game news. Of course, we got the Guilty Gear Strive update coming, the Grand Blue Fantasy Versus update coming, DNF Duel coming out very soon in a few weeks. So we got a lot of things happening for fighting games for sure. But ArcSys has finally revealed the details for the Arc World Tour, which is going to be the huge tour with a bunch of prize pool money for Guilty Gear Strive and DNF Duel coming out here in a few weeks, as I stated earlier. And basically we just get to see the format, exactly what we can expect, what tournament locations are going to be for this. Let's look at everything and check it out and give some opinions about everything that we see here. Throughout the bet, we already know there's going to be $100,000 for both games that will be played, so that makes the total prize value at $200,000 that ArcSys is putting out for this Arc World Tour. And it's going to be split between Guilty Gear Strive and DNF Duel, so $100,000 for both of these major tournaments. We're going to see down here some more overview stuff. So of course, the tournament title, feature titles, as we already said, the qualifier tournaments, this is what we're looking forward to. So there's going to be that. We're going to be looking at the schedule in just a second, but we can also see the prize values too. So first place getting to 50,000, second place 20,000, and so on and so forth. So if you make it to the finals, you're at least walking home with some money, which is very nice. That's always nice, right? But there's also some rules and stuff we are going to get into in just a second here as well, which may make people feel a little bit worried about how this is actually going to be as far as the state of the game. We'll talk about that in just a second. But starting off with the qualifier tournament, so we have August is going to be EVO. This is going to be the very first time that we're going to have a qualifying event. EVO is going to be the Kickstarter for the Arc World Tour, and this is going to be just for Guilty Gear Strive. Now, as we know, that DNF Duel is actually not an EVO game, so you're not going to be able to get a player on there. So what they did was they put one of the other players on the CEO Taku that you can see is going to be happening from September 23rd to September 25th. So there's going to be two people that are going to qualify, and I'm guessing just the grand people in grand finals. So those two people will qualify for the Arc World Tour on the DNF Duel side of things. Two people rather than one for all the other events, because there is no spot for DNF Duel at EVO. There's no tournament there. So we also got VS Fighting, which is August 19th to 21st. Rev Major, CEO Taku, like we just mentioned. The Mix-Up. There's a tournament in Korea that's coming soon, as far as the announcement just got out on 2022. Arc Revo Japan, and we don't know the official date for that yet, but we got December. And Frosty Falcons, which we just know is going to be winter of next year. Now, this is a nice breakdown list here, because obviously we can see exactly who is going to be getting inside of these events, like like how many people are going to be picking. So one per event makes sense. So there's going to be a total of 8 spots, I guess. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep, so 8 people in the bracket. But the locations, I think, is definitely very important here. So they're trying to get a lot of areas. So of course, we got the USA tournaments. There's more in America than other places. EVO have to be one, I feel like. CEO Taku, they picked for one. So I feel like those two were definitely very good, just having the EVO and the one of the actual just regular American tournaments. But they actually put 3 in here, which I guess that's something they want to do. But we have a Japanese one, we have a Korea one, we have one in France. We have one in the Philippines, which I think is very interesting that they actually chose Philippines. And we have one in England as well. So I don't know how I feel about just the third America pick. I feel like we could have gave another region, probably, I don't know, another region that just don't have the opportunity. Maybe something like a Canada or a South America tournament or something like that, to give these people a chance to shine. Considering that we're hitting some of these other regions, we have some EU regions here. We have Japan, we have Korea. We have some Asian regions. We have 2 American regions, because I feel like EVO got to be in there, but they also want to represent just one actual, community-based major, not Sony sponsored now type major that's going to be happening. So I like that as well. And then the third one, I mean, don't get me wrong, it could be either CEO Taku or Frosting Falls that would have got the second one. It just, I felt like the third spot for the USA should have definitely probably went to another region, just to get a little bit more diversity within this top 8 bracket, as we're going to see here, of course, for this tournament for the finals of the World Tour. To be honest, I'm very interested in the actual Philippine ones. I didn't know that there was a major in Philippines, Rev Major. I've never heard of it before. I'm just interested to see the type of competition that's within that area. I really never heard of many players coming out of the Philippines as far as fighting games go. So I'm very interested to see exactly how this region of the world actually plays. And of course, there will be people that will be traveling to these other tournaments as well to try to get their chance to get inside there. Going to be some gatekeepers, and they're going to be people that's trying to get multiple chances to try to get inside of this World Tour finals for either one of these games that they're participating in. And of course, the finals themselves are going to be March 2023. As we can see, the finals is going to be in California, USA. Don't know the exact location yet, but we just know it's going to be in California. And of course, just the 8 participants for both games. So 8 for Strive and 8 for DNF Duel. Now, talking about the actual rule sets for these games, this is where things may get a little bit iffy. Now, first reading the official tournament rules is basic stuff here that you can expect. Of course, like, the definitions of what they're talking about, player eligibility. So they're, talking about like employees, officers, and players must be a certain age. You got to get, parents' consent if you're not. Stuff like that. Player replacement, if you can't make it, then the person next in the line that was the second highest placing will definitely just be the next person. Promotional rights, just saying, they could use you in marketing material and stuff like that. Code of conduct, don't be a fucking dickhead. You guys already know. More basic ruling stuff like sponsorships, player disputes, and stuff like that. Going over the prize pool once again, just talking about how much money is involved in this stuff. Nothing too crazy. Consent to the official rules and all that, the policy and stuff. But this is where things start to get interesting when they start talking about the actual tournament rules. One thing about some of these fighting games, especially Guilty Gear Strive being on the forefront, a lot of these tournaments are running the actual 3 out of 5 format. So the best 3 out of 5 format is what you see they are doing. However, here in the individual game rules, we can see that it is going to be a first to 2 on the 2-round format for this. Now, a lot of people do not like Guilty Gear Strive. We don't know too much about DNF Duel. Maybe that game could warrant a first to 2 rounds, depending on like how that game actually plays out. But Guilty Gear Strive is such an explosive game that people just don't like this format for this game particularly. You see it all the time in clips and stuff like that of people just getting absolutely exploded. I mean, Combo Breaker was probably a great example of that, how fast-paced this game could be and how quickly you can lose rounds or even games in that matter. I mean, we got songs that don't even play out because the game is so fast, because you just die within the first a minute and a half or minute, and then you're on to the whole next game. Not round, but game is just that fast sometimes. Now, the thing, of course, that is worrying a little bit of people is the wording around here a little bit below, where it says all rules not noted below will determine in the sole discretion of ArcSys Works and the tournament organizers for each qualifier tournament. So they're saying these are the tournament rules, and they're saying, like, things you don't see here are going to be in the determining factor of Arc System Works and the tournament organizers for the qualifier tournaments, which means potentially that these rules are within the qualifier tournaments as well. So this is just not talking about the ArcSys final rules. This is probably just the ruling for every event that's going to be one of these games. So if you're going to be an event that's going to be part of the Arc World Tour, maybe this game specifically has to be within this format too, because it's within the Arc World Tour. So Guilty Gear Evo is going to be probably first or 2 at Evo now because of these rules, because of the Arc World Tour rules. And this is probably something that's going to be definitely a little bit concerning. And hopefully this actually isn't the case. And of course, the own tournaments can make their own ruling for the actual tournaments themselves that they are hosting. But then just the finals are going beyond these rules. And hopefully, even besides this, maybe people can outcry about the ruling about this a bit more. And of course, we can get this changed to a first to 3. With 2 rounds, and so people would definitely be a lot more competent or comfortable with that, because that's what every other tournament has been running. The game is fast paced enough with how explosive it is, so it can warrant this type of first to 3 format. And of course, it just shows more of the consistencies of the player because of, once again, of how fast paced this game is and how fast it actually be with explosiveness, stuff like that. So just getting more chances and being able to play in this first to 3 format will definitely show the more consistent player in this format for sure. So definitely, I know people want to see that, and hopefully we can see this type of ruling overhauled, or at least talked about within the community, because I'm pretty sure people are definitely bringing this up, and this is definitely something of a concern. So that's pretty much all the major news for the Arc Rebel World Tour 2022 edition, and I just can't wait to see exactly how this is going to play out. Of course, like I said, if there's anything that's going to be changed, I definitely want to talk about this for a second time, because I definitely want to hear out of the community is voicing their opinions about everything that's happening here and stuff like that. And I just want to see overall the opinions of like how people feel about the actual region selections, like, everybody okay with like what tournaments are there and stuff like that. Everybody okay with like, the actual tournament rulings and whatnot. So far, it seems like a pretty okay standard, and I'm glad they went ahead and put this information out there so it can be discussed and probably changed to what it needs to be if there are going to be changes, and hopefully it get changed for the better in the future. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how much this is going to impact the future of some tournaments that are going to be on the upcoming. So definitely looking forward to this. And hey, I'm just glad we back offline, man. Arc World Tour 2022, I can't wait to see it. Anyway, as always, if you like anything I had to say, drop me a like. I really appreciate it. And if you want more from me, follow my socials. Also, don't forget to subscribe and turn notifications so you know the next video goes live. As always, my name is Dyken, and I'll see you next time. Signing out.